We're back. We're back in this bitch. I'm late for two reasons. One, I fell asleep on the couch. And two, I woke up from being asleep on the couch an hour ago. So it's gonna be an odd change now that we're back. Doogie is a bit sad that only I came back and not everyone. I get it. I get it. But I think he should be happy that I'm back, even though he doesn't seem like it, do you? He doesn't seem like it. He hasn't been sitting with me, snoozing with me downstairs. Because usually when no one's downstairs, he or they, including Monty, just go wherever / to the big bedroom downstairs. But since I was downstairs, they're like, oh, stay. So I was gonna have a shower, but I fell asleep, and I wanted to watch I'm a Celebrity, but I fell asleep. So guess I didn't watch I'm a Celebrity. I mean, I always enjoy watching I'm a Celebrity, but I feel like I don't miss anything, because especially since it's not live, it's so it's a pre-programmed show, like Avatar, not Avatar, Survivor. But before we get into the actual stream playing the game, I only want to watch one video, but Charlie doing his review of the Bone Temple, because I watched the Bone Temple the day before we left, if I recall, which was, remember, barely a week ago. So yeah, I watched it on the 21st, I think. Did I? Let me double check. No, I watched it on the 17th. I was going to watch a movie on the 21st, but Marty Supreme, for some reason, only came out here on the 20th of January, even though it came out on Christmas in the States. So that's a film I'm going to be watching sooner rather than later. Just to get it done, because everyone says it's phenomenal, and I saw the title sequence of that. The title sequence is just sperm going to an egg, and then the egg becomes a ping pong ball. Fucking peak, bro, peak. People say it's one of their favorite films, so it's weird. What do you call it? Do you call it a 2025 film or a 2026 film? Because it was released in 2026 for me. I have no idea. But yeah, shall be fun. Oh, fucking forgot that I had to have to do that. Shit. I don't understand why when you restart your computer, everything gets reset. All the tabs get rearranged to the same specific sequence. And I don't know why it's always the same specific sequence. But it is. And it's fucking annoying. Why do I have two of the same thing? Oh, okay. I need to edit that video. Sooner rather than later. Do I want to see behind the mask? Maybe.
Finding on the record had nothing to do with a gotcha. You know, it wasn't a payback. In fact, what it was is me healing a big part of myself because, you know, I've made peace with what led up to the decisions that we all were forced into, and what caused it, and what's happened afterward has been successful and great for everybody. We were all kids, and we were all severely alcoholic, so I don't think anybody was handling things in an adult manner. And I have absolutely nothing against James or Lars or Kurt. You know, Cliff, may you rest in peace, brother. So the idea of doing Ride the Lightning, you know, I wrote that song, and I have a big.
Bro, Dave was being so genuine, talking about he doesn't have any bad blood between Lars, James, or Kirk, but then he just says, we're doing Ride the Lightning because I wrote that song. I'm like, we know for a fact you didn't. We know from the riff tapes you brought in the spider riff. That's basically it. Or maybe the verse riff. And everyone knows for a fact that, like, the other parts are James or Kirk or even fucking Lars, because Lars is a riff writer. By humming a riff, then James plays it, and it's a good riff. That's how we got Short of Straw, and supposedly the intro to Master of Puppets.
Into it, and I wanted to finish that. Now James wrote the lyrics. Clearly, we co-wrote it, but that was a song that tribute to what we did together, and I wanted to pay tribute to what we did. And you know, because if you got in a room with me and James and Lars and Ron McGovney, I'm 20. These guys are all teenagers. And you say, Dave, you're gonna write guitar style that is gonna be the biggest thing in the fucking world. Do you believe that? That kid would have said, fuck you. And I would have said, of course I believe it. But deep down inside, would have I believed that? I don't think so. I just was doing it because there was a fire in my belly, and I wanted to stop being alone. You know, I hate loneliness, and that's one of the things that being in a band, I think it helps heal, but you've got to tread very carefully, because you can go into a place where you start to believe your own hype. That was awesome, and it's been so great being able to be here with you the entire 40 years. All of you that have just joined recently, those of you that have been here since day one. I want to thank you for being here at our album listening event, and I can't wait to put this album into your hands. And I want you to know, sincerely, we wouldn't be here without you. Of course, we love the music as much as you do too, but we're a family, and we'll always be a family. Thank you.
Like, thing is, Megadeth is legitimately trying. At least Dave, I think, is trying to because he's not only does like every single store in America that sells a vinyl or a CD has a unique version of the vinyl, like a special print of the color, which a lot of some fans care about vinyl color. I don't really, but like if there's an option for me to get the non-standard that is in the black, I would do that. Um, um, but then I found out that like it's like was it 3 bonus tracks floating around? There's Bloodlust, some other one, maybe there's another one out there, and I'm like, you're like, I understand people put bonus tracks onto like international releases like Japan releases because something about like high attacks or low attack. I don't know. I don't actually know the reasoning. Because like Trivium, Slipknot, so many bands just either add in a song that they already released or they put a new one. Like with Sin Descendants, Pillars of Serpents was the Japanese release, but didn't get officially released anywhere else until 2019. So that's a lot of fans that weren't really heavy into the YouTube rips didn't know about that cover until 2019. So to this day, everyone says 2019 version, even though it came out in 2017. And then like look with the Demons say both Scattering the Ashes and Bleed Into Me acoustic versions, which still hasn't been released anywhere else. All That Life and all that stuff, like interesting. But also with the documentary, like I get it's a last hurrah in Dave's eyes, and like he has this illness, there's no potential cure for, and I think he's afraid that his guitar ability is gonna go low, so he wants to like do as much as he can now. That's why he's retiring now, even though technically he doesn't want to. It's just his like because Iron Maiden are like 10 years older than him, and they're going strong. I think they're on their final tour now, but I think the bulk of them have maybe barely a decade remaining because we know the drummer retired, even though when they say they're gonna release a final album, Nico is still a studio drummer. He just doesn't want to tour. So like, that's pretty cool. And I get touring is fucking exhausting, but yeah, like even with adding Ride the Lightning on the album, I think like Dave is saying that he wants to pay tribute to how it all began and like be thankful for his brothers because I think he genuinely believes if Metallica didn't go to the heights they were, Megadeth wouldn't be as big as they are, because a lot of people be like, oh, this guy was in Metallica and they kicked him out. Let's check him out. And either they like it or like some songs, then some songs become big. They find out the history later. Look at Countdown to Extinction stuff, like Symphony of Destruction. But part of me genuinely believes the reason why they did Ride the Lightning is to have more listens to that specific song, whether it be on social media, YouTube, Spotify, whatever, so they can like, because when the album dropped, every new song got like 100,000 views on YouTube Music, basically, or the ported ones to YouTube, but Ride the Lightning got 500,000, so like it's already like a times 5. You know what I mean? So like, and then people like Bloodlust is the best song of the album, and that's limited to a Target exclusive or something. And I think it's only available on vinyl or even CD. So like, I don't know, but like, it's a money. Like, sure, maybe it's for the fans, but like, I think deep down inside, or even he's just hiding it, it's not a last hurrah in the conventional sense. Because the last hurrah would just be the final album. Here's what we have. We're gonna tour it for the next 5 years. That's it. But no, it's like every single store you go to has a different version of the album. There's gonna be a slight difference on it, and the album design will be different. We have a documentary coming out the very same day, and like we'll listen to the album on that day as well. Like it's like I might as well go and see it for the sake of saying that I saw it. Like I don't particularly like Megadeth as just a cohesive band, because it's not really a band, it's Dave and Co at the end of the day. Because I only really like Marty era stuff, like Rust in Peace. That's the only album I can listen back to front without cringing. Sure, I'll probably need to do a deep dive on the entire discography to actually give my formal opinion on it. Let me look at Mighty Supreme, Mercy. How is Mercy doing in cinemas? People saying it's either bad. I want to see it. Mercy's at 6.2. What the hell? Why is everyone saying it's bad then? Oh, what? Oh, damn, I missed it. The Megadeth thing, I think, was only for a few days. It's kind of sad. You want longevity in cinema, so I don't know why. But then again, I don't know what a label Megadeth is under. I do kind of find it funny that Dave has always had a notoriously bad voice in terms of vocals. Like, he's not a conventional singer. Like, you can't really he doesn't really have a range. Either he doesn't want to or whatever, I don't know. But like, it's kind of funny that he got throat cancer because like he was abusing his I don't know, either bad technique, I don't know. It's kind of a weird, like, oh, one of the worst vocals in metal, he's the one that gets cancer. So it's like, oh. But maybe that's why Megadeth and all that had a completely different label for the final album, because they needed one that would be willing to like go to the extreme lengths, because the average label wouldn't do every single store has a different variant, because that's just so hard to manage, you know. And some people just like getting shit online anyway. I have a bunch of YouTube I need to watch. But let me watch Charlie's thing about 28 years later. Oh, is that for Mercy? Because people saying it's worse or on par as a bad film as War of the Worlds. I'm like, how? The trailer looked fucking sick.
I'm alive. Just kidding. I'm dead inside, emotionally. But that's not...
Last year, the world was plagued by what is potentially the worst film ever made. War of the Worlds starring Ice Cube. And what if I... If you heard some weird noises outside of your home earlier... If you heard some weird noises outside of your home earlier today that sounded like some kind of haunting, like a ghost saying boo...
Let's watch, he titled the video...
I imagine most of you are familiar with the classic fairy tale of the princess kissing a frog and it turning...
It's sad that, yeah, it's a shame it's flopping. Because whilst 28 Years Later did extremely well, not many people are actually seeing the sequel. Sure, a lot of people didn't know it was coming out. I knew. I think I found out that, like, soon after I watched the third one, because, like, people don't really like, oh, here's a new film. Oh, but hey, we're actually releasing another one next year. Don't tell anyone. And that one next year is actually going to be even better. So, like, you kind of would want the people to go and see the actual good one so you can make a final one. Because, I will be sad if something comes out that the planned 28 Years finale is going to be cancelled. Whilst the Bone Temple was phenomenal, it's a part 2. There needs to be a part 3. There's so many things that were set up in years 1 and 2 that, like, Samson going to the town to interact with the baby is going to be a necessity because that baby's basically his. And it's named after Spike's mom. So, like, we need to see that.
I just saw 28 Years Later Bone Temple, and it is a significant improvement over the last one. Not that I thought the last one was bad, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it. This movie slaps. I think Bone Temple is extremely good, and I just read that it's not doing well in the box office and is projected at like a 13 million opening weekend, which is a 53% drop or something like that compared to the last one. And honestly, that's just a bigger shame than when they canceled the Men in Black cartoon series, because this movie is, I think, very good. I understand why people maybe aren't, flocking to the theater to plant their asses in the seats and watch this if they watched the last one and didn't like it all that much. Because that movie, it felt like two very different movies that were sometimes clashing, and I didn't think it worked overly well. So I imagine a lot of people probably weren't super hyped to see it continued, thinking that it'd be, same song and dance again. Let me just put those fears to bed. It is not. This movie, I think, is much, much better. Another thing that I think is working against it is how quickly it's come out since the last one. It's only been 6 months. I think it's 6 months, somewhere in that general ballpark. So it hasn't even been like a full year since 28 Years Later. So I think a lot of people think that this is like fucking DLC or something, or behind the scenes look at 28 Years Later. And marketing hasn't exactly been stellar for it. So I definitely understand there's a lot of contributing factors for its less than amazing performance so far on the box office. But I just need you to know, this movie is like really good, and it would be really just a sin to not see this story concluded, because there is still more to the story. And the way that this one ends, I actually sat there and said out loud, holy shit. I am very, very curious to see where they take it, and I hope that we do get to see the finale of it, even if this doesn't, start picking it up in the box office. I hope they've just already got it in the can and are ready to ship it, because if nothing else, I really want to see it. So anyway, as I do now these days, I get into spoilers, so here's your spoiler warning.
I'm glad he does.
Alright, we're in. At the end of 28 years later, I mentioned a very silly, out-of-nowhere scene where you had basically the blonde-haired Power Rangers drop in and save our protagonist Spike out of nowhere. They come in and they just start, massacring some zombies using, like, fucking kung fu on them. One of them's doing, like, flips and shit, and it's just so wacky and tonally different than a lot of everything else we'd see in the movie. This film picks up right where that one leaves off. It's the cult of Jimmy, and Spike is now given the opportunity to join their ranks one of the fingers if he can kill one of the members. It's do or die, and he is getting toyed with by the Jimmy that is fighting him. But Spike is able to pull it off. He kills that Jimmy, and now he is forced